الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الإيمان 79 وقال 69 شعبة فأفضلها قول لا إله إلا الله وأدناها إماتة الأذى عن الطريق والحياء شعبة من الإيمان متفق عليه. Continuing with the hadith, we began the discussion yesterday, and as I mentioned, this hadith passed previously also in the kitab under the chapter which deals with haya, shame or modesty, the virtue of it and the encouragement of us inculcating that quality within us. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Iman constitutes more than 70 or more than 60 different parts. As we mentioned yesterday, this type of one is that the number is not specific, but it means there are many, many parts of Iman. The fact that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not specify what the various parts of Iman are, this is a means of a type of hikmat and wisdom of Rasulullah Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam to encourage us to search, like we are encouraged to search for Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and like we are encouraged to search for the time of acceptance of dua on the day of Jumu'ah, like that ahadith where a specific number is not given, the underlying wisdom behind that is to create this talab within us. In Quran, in ahadith, what are the branches of Iman and how we can inculcate them in our lives. فَأَفْضَلُهَا, the most virtuous of all the branches of Iman is La ilaha illallah. That is the kalima. This is kalimatul ikhlas. This is kalimatul tawheed. This is the very essence or the foundation of deen. Famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, لو جيء بالسماوات والأرض ومن فيهن وما بينهن وما تحتهن فوضعن في كفة الميزان ووضعت شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله في الكفة الآخر لرجحت بهن لا إله إلا الله. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, one hadith, لو جيء بالسماوات والأرض, the other, لو وزنت بالسماوات والأرض, that if everything in the heavens and everything in the earth, how many creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heavens and the earth, how vast this is actually mind-boggling. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if all this has to be brought, everything between the heavens and the earth, every creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jannat, Arsh, Kursi, all that has to be brought, Jahannam also, all this has to be placed in one pan of the scale, and the shahadat of La ilaha illallah on the other pan of the scale. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam took an oath. He says, I take an oath upon that being in whose hands lies my life. La ilaha illallah will outweigh the 7 heavens and the 7 earths and everything that it contains. This is kalimatul ikhlas, kalimatul tawheed. In fact, the value of this kalima, we can gauge that person whose last words in this world is La ilaha illallah, دخل الجنة. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من كان آخر كلامه شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله دخل الجنة. وفي رواية حرم الله عليه النار. He will definitely enter into Jannah. In one riwayat, Allah Ta'ala will make Jahannam haram upon him. So La ilaha illallah, the dhikr of La ilaha illallah, the da'wat of La ilaha illallah, the fikr of La ilaha illallah, the pondering of La ilaha illallah, this is the highest branch of Iman. And this was the first da'wat of every Nabi of Allah. So this should be an integral part of our lives. Our 6 qualities of tabligh also, the first of which is the yaqeen in La ilaha illallah, to develop this conviction. So coming back to this hadith, Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Iman constitutes of more than 70 or more than 60 different branches. The most virtuous and the first of which is La ilaha illallah. And then in the same hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَأَدْنَاهَا إِمَاتَةُ الْأَذَىٰ عَنِ الطَّرِيقِ. He said the lightest branch of Iman is the removing of adha. Adha, in the commentary of the hadith, a little greater explanation is given of this. In other words, the word adha literally means something that causes difficulty, taklif. Anything that causes difficulty in the road, to remove it. In other words, to create ease for your fellow Muslims. And more detail is given in the commentary of the hadith, something insignificant, ka hajar, wa shawk, wa teen. If there is a stone in the way, if there is a thorn in the way, if there is some sand, even if there is some mud, or there is some garbage, there's a banana peel, somebody may slip and fall. If you see anything that is potentially a cause of taklif or difficulty or hardship to another Muslim, to remove this, to create ease for another Muslim or for people. In fact, in the hadith, it's not even mentioned another Muslim. There's general tarafe, even for non-Muslims. If something is going to cause taklif or difficulty or hardship, this is part of the akhlaq and character of Islam, of deen. This is a shan of a believer, that he tries to create ease and comfort for others. And this may seem a simple or a mundane act. Banana peel is lying in the way, or there is something that is going to cause, that is blocking the thoroughfare. You take the trouble of removing it. Like I said, it may seem a simple act, yet in this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam refers to this as one of the branches of Iman. In other words, it is part of your very faith to be someone who creates ease for others. Now, if you look at this, almost one side of the scale, other side of the scale. أَفْضَلُهَا قَوْلُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. One side, most virtuous, is the saying of La ilaha illallah. Other side, adnaha. He said the lightest branch of Iman, imatatul adha ani tariq, to remove something that is causing difficulty to people from the tarafe, from the road. Now if we have to look at this, one side, La ilaha illallah, huququllah, the right of Allah. The other side, removing difficulty for people, huququl ibad, the rights of your fellow human beings. So from this we learn that huququllah and huququl ibad, our normal ibadat and our interaction with our fellow human being, for Iman to be complete, both have to be found. For Iman to be complete, and both is part of Iman. In other words, both are necessary for the perfection, for the culmination, for the development of our Iman. What is important, my respected brothers, particularly this aspect of causing taklif, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to remove or alleviate difficulty is part of Iman, it is part of deen. One is something, a stone, a thorn, a banana peel, some garbage is causing taklif to people. What about elsewhere in the Quran? Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ بِغَيْرِ مَا اكْتَسَبُوا فَقَدِ احْتَمَلُوا بُهْتَانًا وَإِثْمًا عَظِيمًا. Those who will cause taklif, who will cause hurt to the believers, believing men or believing women, by false accusations, spreading mischief, spreading malicious rumors, فَقَدْ احْتَمَلُوا بُهْتَانًا وَإِثْمًا عَظِيمًا. Allah says this is a great guna, great sin. This is slander of the highest level. Unfortunately, with the social media and with the cell phone, as we mentioned many, many times, this has now become something that is absolutely common. If removing a banana peel from the way is part of Iman, so that you cause ease for others, here you are actually causing taklif. You are actually causing hurt and you are causing harm to the reputation of people by spreading this mischief. We can see how much it goes against the very grain of Iman. Don't be a source of taklif and difficulty. Remove something small from the tarafe. This is part of Iman. What happens if you come to the masjid and you park your car in such a way that you're blocking the entire driveway. MashaAllah, you are making your ibadat, but you are causing taklif to others. Today we take these things very lightly. If Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, remove something from the tarafeh, this is part of iman. If you go converse to that, go opposite to that, where you are actually physically causing a problem for people. Removing a problem, this is part of iman, where now a Muslim is actually causing a problem for people by his arrogance, by his behavior, by his total disregard of others. This is something actually, in the light of such ahadith, we learn it will actually erode your iman, will wipe away your nekis, will take away the nur of your amal, of your ibadat. So on the one hand, removing difficulties is part of iman. Greater than that is make sure you don't become a cause of difficulty. Make sure you don't become an impediment, an obstacle to others. Don't have this arrogance or don't have this lackadaisical attitude towards behaving in such a way where you are going to cause difficulty and hardship unnecessarily to others. وَالْحَيَاءُ شُعْبَةٌ مِّنَ الْإِيمَانِ. And the latter part of the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, again if you look at the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the highest branch of iman is La ilaha illallah. The lowest branch of iman is to remove an impediment or difficulty from the tarafeh, something that is causing difficulty to people. And then he mentions specifically, he says, Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Al-haya'u shu'batun min al-iman. He said modesty, shame, and as we mentioned yesterday, part of modesty and shame, protect your chastity, protect your gaze, lower your gaze, crown yourself with the jewel of lowering your gaze. This is that power and this is that taqat that will raise you higher than the malaika. It will raise you to the arsh of Allah. It will give you that inner sweetness and ecstasy in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ulama Ikram mentioned that why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically single out modesty, haya and shame? He said, they mentioned that because this is a necessary constituent to enable one to fulfill all the other branches of iman. The haqq of la ilaha illallah will come when you have haya for Allah. Such haya for Allah that causes you to stay away from the disobedience of Allah, that causes you to bring the obedience of Allah in your life. Haya, shame, modesty, this is something that will help you to fulfill every other branch of iman. This is why specifically Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam singles out this important quality. And from this we learn that haya, shame, modesty, this is iman itself. This is part of iman. And the more haya and shame, the higher the level of our iman. Allah give us tawfiq.